The views and opinions expressed by John and DJ do not reflect those of any intelligent or rational human being and are solely the property of the Brightside Chat.
This show is a proud member of the Nerdy Legion Podcast Network. Get more at nerdylegion.com. Enjoy the show.
Hey, welcome back to the Bright Side and issue number 127. John, what's the title this week?
Shadecraft.
Number 1 from Image Comics, right?
Yep.
It's the title of the show. We both enjoyed that book.
We have yet to name the show after something we didn't like, so I think we've already given it away.
Stay tuned.
Like next week, we should name the show after the book we didn't like. That way we throw people off.
Is there a John Romita Jr. coming?
If you read it in the title, you can safely say that we liked it.
Yeah.
There's no John Romita Jr. book next week. So
next week? All right. That's. And it's not even the books, really. It's
just the art. Yeah.
Oh, I remember the day when I felt bad for him. So a lot of stuff this week, though. Yeah, those days. Hey, I can only
come to the dark side.
I can only pretzel so much, you know.
Right.
So I'm not that flexible because I'm getting old too. We got not a ton of news, but we had quite the conversation about it's kind of the elephant in the room, the Marvel signing with Random House and everything. So we got that coming up right after I get into the store. But we have quite a few books this week. A lot of work went into us putting together the stuff for YouTube. So go there and subscribe.
Right. So make sure all 10 of you go.
It is a visual medium. It only took us 2+ years to get the visuals out to you. So we understand. But
baby steps.
Baby steps. That's the name. That should be the name of the show.
Yep.
But all right, you ready to get into the store?
Yep. Right. Always.
Hey, John, how are we doing this week?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I'm so glad to be back in the store. It's been a crazy week for me. I read a few books today, but I haven't had the opportunity to talk comics since last we spoke. A whole week.
And we only talked one comic last week, right?
Yeah, so it's really kind of been 2 weeks.
We didn't read anything, so.
Yeah, we got a comment on our YouTube page that said, I really like your open. It's a great show. I'm looking forward to you guys talking about a lot of comics. Whoops. Well, last week's show didn't even come out on YouTube.
Well,
we had that little
wasn't
snafu.
Even on YouTube, so.
Yeah, so.
That had to have been from the week before.
Exactly. So, but how's business going? How was it today?
It was okay. It wasn't the best Wednesday I've had lately, but it was okay. A little bit light on new releases this week, so.
Yeah, there were a few good books though. We'll get to that.
There were, but it wasn't a huge comic release week this week, so.
Yeah. We got a lot. We don't have a lot of breaking news, but we do have. You hit me with a bunch of books, so we have a bunch of Speculator books. We've got a bunch of a whole 20 back issue bonus books to talk about.
Yeah, but
almost
the same
20.
Title,
I know, but they're all nice covers.
You went a little above and beyond there because we could have really just.
Hey, you got to keep the people. You got to keep the tens of people entertained on YouTube. You know.
We could have combined this all into one graphic, and I could have just run through the list.
Exactly. Just go and look for it. Just if you see an Invincible book, get it.
Yeah.
Burying the lead there.
I was gonna say,
all right.
They don't even have to wait. They can just turn off the show.
That's only a few of them. There's a bunch of others though. We obviously FOC, some really nice books in there, and some checkout books this week. One I'm really excited to talk about. I want to get your take on it, but that'll be fun. So, you ready to get to some breaking news?
Sure.
Do you have any breaking news? Something I might have to look up?
No breaking news. No
okay.
flash news flash this week.
No. Okay. All right. What do we get? Oh, this first. Well, a lot of people have been waiting for us to talk about this because you're one of the few comic book store owners that has a podcast. So
I am. I'm breathing rarefied air.
Yes. So here we go. Big news broke. And what happened?
Yeah, so this news broke last Friday, I think.
Yeah. Something like
yeah,
that.
so it looks like Marvel is following DC's footsteps, and they have broken from Diamond Comics distribution, and they have signed an exclusive distribution deal with Penguin Random House. This isn't set to begin until after the summer, sometime in September or October. So, just like with the DC news, like this should be a pretty seamless and unknown transition to most of the comic book buyers. Most people that come into the stores won't know this even happened and shouldn't see any difference in their service that they get. But it's a big thing for comic book store owners because prior to DC doing this, well, I guess it's been a year, just about a year now, because it was kind of like right after we came back from
it was right in the middle,
shutdowns last year. So probably May or June last year, DC broke. But prior to that, Diamond Comics had a monopoly on distribution for better part of 2 decades or more. So this is a pretty big shakeup. DC leaving was a big deal, but DC is firmly planted in the number 2 spot. Marvel is the number 1 comic publisher, and by a pretty significant margin. So them leaving Diamond is a really big deal.
Yeah.
For Diamond, and what that we don't really know what that means yet. Like, I'm not quite sure how this is all going to shake out. When it comes to Diamond, I don't know if they can survive losing Marvel and DC in a year and still.
Are they just gonna do indie books? Is that
viable, it? So, yeah, I mean they'll continue to have. At this point, I think Vault Comics is also gone with Penguin. So right now it looks like Diamond has, they have Image, they have Boom, they have IDW, Dark Horse, Oni Press, basically all the indie titles. They've still got the, like their Diamond Select Toys line and Funko and, the book, like manga, the book distribution. So, I mean, they've got a lot of things going for them still, but it still remains to be seen whether they're going to be able to weather losing Marvel.
That's a huge account. Obviously, it's their biggest.
That's what I'm saying. It's got to be their biggest account by far.
Right.
So, like I said, don't know what that means for them, and don't know exactly what it means for us.
So
DC paving the way definitely makes this an easier transition because, now the precedent is already set, for ordering comics from other distributors. So, yeah, it remains to be seen how this is all going to shake out. But
so one of the questions that we've heard, are there any rumors of it changing days from a Wednesday to anything else? So Marvel's going to stay on Wednesdays even with Penguin.
Marvel, we got a pretty big packet from Marvel and Random House detailing most of this, and that they're not trying to. We're not going to get comics from Marvel on Monday and DC on Tuesday and everybody else on Wednesday. Marvel is committed to keeping Wednesday new release day. They're continuing to use Monday as their FOC day. So nothing is going to change in the timing of any of this.
Right. That's good.
For the, for you guys, the buyers, and for us, the retailers. Like, we're still going to do Marvel FOC on Mondays. We also still have the option to continue to buy our Marvel books through Diamond. Diamond
really?
will.
It's just not exclusive.
Diamond is going to actually be, like, Diamond will be buying their books from Random House now. Instead of getting them direct from Marvel, Random House is actually going to distribute to Diamond just like any other account. And that will give them the option to still be able to process and ship the books. So, again, some of that's still up in the air. Like, will I buy my books from Random House directly, or will I continue to order them from Marvel? That depends on if ordering from Marvel ordering from Diamond means I won't get them on Tuesdays anymore. Like, we don't know anything yet on those details. I don't know if Diamond will be able to continue the same margins and discounts that they've been giving us, because they are now purchasing from Random House at probably a higher rate than they were buying them direct from Marvel. So is that going to translate to lower discounts for the retailers? We don't know anything when it comes to that. From my perspective, I can't see any reason why I would want to order my Marvel books through Diamond anymore when I can order them directly from Random House.
You'd have to imagine there'd be an uptick in price just because of you're not getting them direct, right? Because Diamond's going to want to make money.
Right. And again, there's things to shake out. Again, I don't know how much the listeners care to know all the nitty-gritty of the store's perspective on this, but for instance, I'm at a 58% discount tier with Marvel based on my purchases through Diamond, right? And I pay quite a bit in shipping to get these things shipped to me every week.
Right.
And you get discount based on your tiers of how much money you spend with Marvel. So that's where I happen to be. Now with Random House, it's flat discount, 50% for any account, doesn't matter how big or how small you are. But we get free shipping. So, does the shipping make up the difference of the 8% discount that I'm losing from Marvel? It should, from Diamond rather, because Diamond charges an exorbitant amount for shipping. We've gone through that. I kind of went through this when we talked about the Lunar deal with DC. How much more? How much Diamond actually, Diamond seems to make their money off of shipping more than anything else, because they really overcharge. So I have a feeling I'm going to be better off with my 50% discount and free shipping than I would be from Diamond at 58% and paying shipping. Especially if Diamond then comes back and says, well, we can't give you 58% anymore. Maybe we can only give you 54% or something like that. I don't know. And again, this is across the board for their graphic novels and things like that. And, again, that's where, stocking up on graphic novels through Diamond, it can be prohibitive because, again, the shipping by weight is crazy. Right. Whereas now with Random House, it's free. So, so there's things there. And there's
sounds like it could be better.
It looks like there's already going to be pluses because, Random House has already said that they will not combine shipments of comic books and graphic novels in any way, shape, or form ever. They will ship them separately every time, no matter the order size. So, again, I get tons of damaged comics from Diamond because they're thrown in boxes with, graphic novels and manga books and this and that and the other thing, and they're getting knocked around in these boxes that are too big for the comics. And again, that's not going to happen with Random House. They're going to send my graphic novels separate from my comics, and
wow,
we'll see. I view this as
sounds like good news.
I view this in a much different light now that I've gone through all of this stuff with DC a year ago. If this was brand new, just happening, I had a pretty bad reaction to the DC split last year. Yeah. I may be thinking along similar lines this year if it was Marvel doing it first. But I've already adapted now to doing FOC from 2 different places. Now I'll just have to be doing it from 3 different places. I'm used to getting comics, 2 shipments of comics a week. Now I'm going to get 3. So it's not, I'm having a hard time now figuring out what I'm going to use Diamond for. And it is what it is. And Diamond's going to have to adapt and make some changes to survive because, if nothing else, this is going to force them to be better. I said that last year when DC split, and they have been better, but they still have room for improvement. And once again, if they expect anybody to order their Marvel books through them, they're going to have to make it enticing enough for people to want to do that.
Right.
Because Random House has already put their foot forward and given us a lot of reasons why we should order through them first. So that's a positive. The other positive to this, and this may seem like it's not a positive to comic book store owners, but I think it actually is the fact that, Random House is first and foremost a book distributor, not a periodicals distributor. Like they supply books to bookstores across the country. And so this now gives them the option to put Marvel Comics in bookstores, across the country. Now, granted, bookstores are kind of a dying breed. You just don't see as many of them as you used to. But
you see a few of the bigger ones, like
right,
Barnes and Noble and stuff.
But putting comics back out into
mainstream.
Other places besides comic book stores. And again, as a comic book store owner, that may seem like a bad thing, but it's not, because the more eyes you can get on comic books,
it attracts people to the environment.
They'll find their way to you, because a Barnes and Noble will not become a full service comic store. They may have a spinner rack and they may have some top 20 titles, but they're not going to have everything. And so getting those readers to have interest in comics again, because we've talked about it before. You and I, growing up, we didn't buy our comics in comic stores for the most part. We got them in
the drugstore,
grocery stores,
the
and
newsstand uptown,
newsstands, and convenience stores. And if we had to rely on comic book stores to get us into this hobby, we never would have got into it. So, I think that's a positive overall as well. So,
well, it sounds to me like, just hearing your perspective on this a year later, it sounds to me like you learned a lot from the DC event, and I think Marvel did too. Like, I think it sounds to me like Marvel's even rolling this out differently than DC did it. Like last year, it was like DC seemed like they were just forcing it down your throat. That's what there were lies being told. There were, misinterpretations. It was a whole bunch of messy stuff. And not just you. I talked to other store owners as well that were like, this is just, it was horrible. But Marvel seems to be doing it better.
The biggest thing about it was, like, we get an email on Friday that says, hey, next Monday, you need to start ordering from somebody else.
Right.
And, like, Marvel's given us 6 months,
Yeah.
The other part of it is since, I use Comic Hub as my POS system. I've mentioned it before, but other stores use other systems. But the infrastructure, again, thanks to DC now, the infrastructure has been modified to handle more than one major distributor for comics. So the transition to handling another one is going to be much easier than it was a year ago, because a lot of the heavy lifting has been done.
Right.
So now it's just a case of, the Comic Book Hub people calling up Random House and saying, we need your invoices in this format, and that's it. Like, that's all that has to be done, because everything else is in place. So it was just done correctly, because this is how you give people time to adjust to things. You don't do it with 3 days notice.
Yeah, it's funny because, like, when DC did it their way, there may have been some positives in there, but all you were doing was looking at the negatives because you were so angry. And now, with 6 months leeway, I mean, you're even talking about, like, how positive it is that Barnes and Noble could be selling, but you're looking at it changes your perspective entirely.
Well, because again, now a year removed, as mad as I was last year, it's been a net positive for us to get our DC books from Lunar.
Right.
Like, it's been close to a year, so let's say 50 shipments later, right? I've probably had to report a shortage or a damage to Lunar 3 times, maybe,
Right.
in 50 shipments, as opposed to a weekly email to Diamond. So,
What's
again,
funny is
it's been a much more pleasant experience dealing with Lunar than it ever was with Diamond, but I wasn't looking at that
right.
a year ago. And maybe DC had anticipated that it would be, but they didn't handle it right.
Right.
They just handled it badly. It's almost like it worked out by accident instead of through careful planning. You know what I mean?
Right.
But whereas Marvel, like you said, what I'm sure isn't on the inside of DC's boardroom, but could see the market and hear the grumblings and learned from what DC did.
Right.
And said, well, we can do this too, and we can do it better. And, they did, so.
Yeah. And the big, the big picture of the entire thing, this goes way back to when we first started the podcast, and we would get into, and I remember we were nervous talking about like the nitty gritty of behind the scenes of a comic book store, because we were like, that's kind of boring, but it's what you do, and that's part of it's part of what this podcast is about too. But we talked about
it's just not pertinent to 99% of our really to everybody but me.
Right. But it's nice. Sometimes it's nice to see how the sausage is made, and people know. You're invested in the podcast, and hey, you don't like it, fast forward.
Right.
But we talked 2 years ago about how I remember hearing you say how bad Diamond was. And what we kept getting back to was, it's because they were the only one. They were the monopoly. They had, we needed somebody else to come in, and there was no answer. There was, and even you were like, I don't know what they could do. How do you do that? Because they have contracts, they have this. And it wasn't until a year ago, and the way DC did it, you weren't even able to see the positive in that, because I saw that positive right away, but I wasn't angry like you. I didn't have to deal with the mess, but I had been hearing for a long time about how bad Diamond was. And now when DC did it their way, you would have thought like everybody would have been, yay, there's an option here. But because it was done so poorly, and almost like, the Cleveland Browns leaving Cleveland in the middle of the night or whatever.
Right.
It was, whoops. It's like, it was just too sudden, too messy, and people couldn't see how positive an event it was. And now with Marvel doing it, it just, hopefully this means, I actually do think this is going to mean something for the listeners, for the customers. Because if you're getting better books, if you, the store owner, is in a better mood, it's more conducive for this stuff, the talking about, hanging out in a store, instead of an owner being like, oh my God, my order's bought, or everything's late or whatever.
Well, and if nothing else, it also gives us like another place to get books past their release date, right? Because like once again, even with DC and Lunar, like once the book comes out, if I need reorders or things like that, Lunar is not very good about over ordering and keeping extra books on the shelf, or for reorders. They very rarely have anything. But depending on how Diamond does it, now they may be ordering only to exact numbers and that's it. But like for instance, if I need a back issue of something and Random House doesn't have it, I at least now have a second place I can check to see if Diamond might still have a copy before I have to tell a customer that I can't get it for them.
Right.
So, because if nothing else, even Diamond will order a little bit of a cushion to cover potential damages and things like that for books. So they may order an extra 10% just to cover things. And if they don't end up using them all, then those things will be available for reorders. So that could be a positive as well.
Cool.
Yeah. So
awesome.
Yeah.
All right. You ready to move on?
Sure.
All right. And up next, this is interesting. This is gonna be
So
good.
I'm not sure who this is, but Randy McKinnon has been tapped to write the Static Shock movie for Warner Brothers. So
Did it say what he's written before? I didn't see that.
Deep in the article, they mentioned a couple of Netflix projects that he's collaborated on, but it wasn't anything I was really familiar with. But again, now the movie has a director. Now it has a writer. So
soon it'll actually have a movie too.
Yeah. So it's moving along. And I think this is the article said Warner Brothers, but I believe it's for HBO Max.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but don't.
And it's live action?
Don't hold me to it. Yes, it is live action.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. That's going to be interesting how they do that live action.
Yeah.
Should be
fun.
Yeah.
Should be fun. All right. And then it looks like we got our full cast announcement for the Obi-Wan special event series, they're calling it. In addition to Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen, which we already knew, looks like Joel Edgerton and Bonnie P.S. are returning as Owen and Beru Lars from the Phantom Menace. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yep.
So that's really cool. A bunch of other people were listed, but no character names were assigned to anybody except for Owen and Beru, and then obviously Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. So
am I wrong, or wasn't wasn't she in that whole The Vow thing?
Yes.
That was her, right?
Yep, that is her.
Okay.
Yep.
And didn't
so
she
get... is now she escaped all of that. She was one of the ones that was working against them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was working against them with everybody trying to expose everything. So she had already gotten out of
that's good.
That cult thing there. But yeah, that's definitely her. So yeah, it looks like she's back to acting. And
good for her
for this project. Yeah, really good. So
yeah,
should be fun. Yep. Look forward to that.
Yeah, that's still. Do we have a time on that?
I mean, they're filming now, so I would imagine sometime next year.
Could be 8 months. Could be 24.
Yeah. 2022 is all I'll commit to.
There you go.
And then the last thing I have, it looks like Godzilla vs. Kong director Adam Wingard is set to helm the live-action Thundercats movie, also for Warner Brothers. So that's really cool.
He loves dealing in like realistic, type movies.
Yeah.
Based in reality.
Yeah. Kaiju and giant gorillas. Now we have, giant cats. I didn't realize that the Thundercats movie was a live-action movie. I feel like this has to be handled correctly. To be good, because, we've seen cats, and I saw Wonder Woman 84. So, live-action anthropomorphic cat people can be difficult to pull off at best. So... I'm going to be cautiously optimistic for this. And I haven't seen Godzilla vs. Kong yet, so I don't even know.
I'll talk a little bit about it in
anything about Adam, but I feel like he's got his work cut out for him here with the Thundercats. And I love the Thundercat. I love that property, so I'm really looking forward to this. Maybe.
Exactly. It is a weird... I think even now, when was the last time you watched the Thundercats?
Oh, it's been a while. I'm not even sure if it holds up anymore.
That's what I mean. The animated series might not hold up. Never mind a live action series, Yeah. So I don't know. You remember we went back and did our Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Yeah, that wasn't great. But I also went back and rewatched Masters of the Universe, and that held up for me. So.
Yeah.
Well,
it was a simpler time.
We'll see. Yeah, it was. Well, but the Thundercats are from the same time period as Masters of the Universe, so
they were all basically toy commercials.
Pretty much, Transformers,
That's all they were.
Thundercats, He-Man. Yeah, they were all just toy commercials.
Force 5, Guy King, all of them.
Yeah.
Loved them. All right, I have DC's upcoming film slate. They're starting to get packed in together. We have obviously
we get 4 movies next year.
Yeah. We have Suicide Squad coming in August 6th.
Yes.
Then we have the Batman coming now. This is where it starts coming fast and furious, not the movie franchise. The Batman March 4th, Black Adam July 29th, The Flash November 4th, and then Aquaman 2 December 16th.
Yep.
That little gap, that's such a small gap. It's so cool. We're getting The Flash in November and Aquaman in December, like almost a month apart.
I mean, there's a world where they're both in the theater at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, because in some of those big, like 30 movie screen theaters,
right,
running for 30 days isn't unheard of. So,
yeah.
And
then, I mean,
so there's a chance we could see a double feature. Like we could go on Saturday and watch both of them back to back.
There's a very good chance of that.
Yeah.
And then June 2nd, we get Shazam: Fury of the Gods in 2023.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's just nice seeing them listed here, all very, very close together. Very close together. With, I mean, 2 years apart from the beginning to end. Not even. Less than 2 years apart. But quite a few movies in there. And then, obviously, we'll have all of HBO Max going, too. So.
Right.
So, that's it. That is it. That's all I have for news. Are you ready to get into some books?
Sure.
All right. John, what am I going to spend my money on this week?
The first book comes from Marvel. This is Avengers: Curse of the Man-Thing. This is a one-shot issue. The covers to look at here are first the 1 in 10 design variant. Features a new villain called the Harrower. That one looks like it's selling for between $15 and $20. And then there's a Patrick Gleason webhead variant, which, you know, it's kind of, if you go back to like Spider-Man 55 had the webhead variant, and I think Carnage, Black, White, and Blood last month had a webhead variant as well. So similar lines to that. Price hasn't really jumped on that, but it is selling pretty quickly on eBay. I know
pretty cool
Carnage,
cover.
Yeah, the Carnage and the Spider-Man books did jump in price, so I'll do the same.
Cool.
All right, next, also from Marvel, we had Beta Ray Bill issue number 1 came out today. The 1 in 25 Walter Simonson variant is going for between $30 and $35 on this one. So, a little bit
that
of
is
a ratio there.
Colorful cover.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, and Walt Simonson is the creator of Beta Ray Bill back in the 80s, so pretty cool to have him on the cover here. All right, Black Cat issue number 4 has an Adam Hughes variant cover on the 1 in 25 issue, and that one is selling for between $50 and $90. So pretty much double to almost 4 times the ratio on that one. So that's pretty big spread.
That's a nice cover.
And then the Jen Bartel, the Women's History Month variant, also isn't really selling for above cover price, but is selling pretty steadily on eBay as well. So, and that's a pretty nice looking cover.
Yep.
All right, from Boom Studios, we have Power Rangers Unlimited Heir to Darkness, issue number 1. Bunch of variants here that are kind of on fire. This is a $7.99 cover price book, so it's not cheap to start with. But the 1 in 25 variant is selling for right around $50, which is double ratio. The 1 in 50 Jenny Frisson variant is selling for almost $200. So that's really above ratio. And then there was a 1 per store variant that's selling for about $90. So pretty strong across the board on all the variant covers for that book.
Yeah, that's the 1 per store one's the sketch one, I think. Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah. All right, back to Marvel. We had Silk number 1. Now this is a 1 in 100 variant, so it's going to be up there anyways. But the Ji Hung Lee 1 in 100 variant is selling for between $120 and $200. again, probably like this is a book that probably not many stores ordered 100 copies of, so this one's going to be a little bit more scarce out there. But yeah,
It's a nice cover. I mean, it's a really nice cover. But looking for this cover, it's not my favorite of all of the. There's a bunch of variants for this book.
There's a bunch of variants for this, yeah, and there's actually a Ji Hung Lee open to order variant.
Okay.
That is really nice. But yeah, there was a bunch of covers for this. There was also the Jen Bartel.
Yeah, I saw a few covers for this
Woman
one.
of Marvel, Women's History Month variant there too. So, all right, and then last but not least, from Marvel once again, Symbiote Spider-Man, King in Black #5. The 1 in 25 variant here is selling for between $35 and $40, so just a bit over ratio on that one. But
yep,
that is it.
That's a nice cover.
Speculator
I like
books.
that one. It's
Yeah.
really nice. All right, let's get into back issue bonus.
All right, so we're going to start with Silk #1.
Silk
This is
again.
the 2015 series. Did you know this was a $30 to $40 book? Because I didn't. But yeah, that's really taking a big jump. But meanwhile, her first appearance, we've talked about this book a couple of times before. This is from Amazing Spider-Man #4, I believe, like the 2018 series. This is now broken $200 for raw copies, which is way up from the last time we talked about this book. So Silk seems to be climbing up there alongside like Miles and Spider-Gwen. And, she hasn't really showed up anywhere yet. So this just has potential to really... I mean, we haven't hit the ceiling on this by any means, because once she actually shows up somewhere... Silk is rumored to be the subject of the movie that Olivia Wilde is directing.
Oh, yes.
That hasn't been guaranteed, so I think a lot of this is based just off the speculation. But like once that's guaranteed and she's going to be out there, I think the ceiling for this book is, like I said, is going to be who knows. Because I know I've said it before, but I think Silk is a much better character than Ghost Spider. I really like this character a lot, so I think there's a lot of potential there. All right, next, this book came out just last month. It's We Live, issue #5. This is the first appearance of the Palladians, which is I guess the alien race that's trying to save the planet. But this is now selling for between $30 and $35. So that's pretty crazy. Okay, Captain America issue 323. This is the first appearance of John Walker. If you don't know who that is, watch The Falcon and Winter Soldier. This is now selling for between $50 and $90 for a decent shape copy. And then Captain America 312 is the first appearance of Flag Smasher. Also, see Falcon and Winter Soldier if you don't know who Flag Smasher is. That's selling for between $25 and $60. All right, next we're going to talk about Invincible for a bit. So this is based on the TV show dropping on Amazon Prime this past weekend. So pretty much any issue here that's a first appearance is spiking right now. And like that's most of the issues, at least in the early part of this series, because it's a brand new universe, so every character was introduced as a first appearance. So we're going to start with issue #2. This one has a bunch of first appearances, but the most notable one is Adam Eve. This issue is selling for between $225 and $250.
How many of these do you have?
Oh, I don't have any of them.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't own Invincible. I wish I did, but I don't. Issue #5 is the first appearance of Alan the Alien. That's selling for about $100. Issue #6 is the first appearance of Black Samson and the Reanimen, and that's selling for $65. Issue 7, First Guardians of the Globe, $65 to $75. Issue 8, First Damien Darkblood and Amber Bennett, that's $80 to $100. Issue number 9 also has a bunch of first appearances, but the most notable one is Monster Girl. That one's selling for $80. Issue 10 is the first Doc Seismic. That's $100. Issue 14 is the first Bulletproof. That's $50 to $75. Issue 19 also has several, but most notably, this is the first Battle Beast. That's $60 to $75. Issue number 26 is the first appearance of Oliver and Kid Omni-Man. That's $50. And then issue 44 is the first appearance of Anissa, and that is $80. So some of those characters we haven't met yet. Several of them we've already seen in the first 3 episodes of the series. We'll talk about this one a bit more when we get to Real World. So that's it for Invincible. And then not last but not least, I've got several more.
Yeah, we have a few more here.
This book we talked about 2 weeks in a row already.
Yeah.
But Daredevil number 9, the first appearance of Echo, this one just continues to rise. I don't even remember what it was when we talked about it last week, but now it's over $200. So, I mean, for a show that hasn't even come out yet, this book is starting to really go crazy. Who knows how much it's going to be by the time the show comes out. Okay, Truth, Red, White, and Black. Again, we talked about this last week. Last week it was $50. Now it's $100. This was the first appearance of Isaiah Bradley. Once again, I'll say, if you don't know who that is, watch The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Machine Man, issue number 7. This is the first appearance of the Power Broker. This is selling for between $50 and $60 for nice raw copies. Tokyo Ghost, issue number 1. Looks like Legendary Pictures has just picked up this series. So you guys should know what that means by now. This was about $5. Now it's selling for between $35 and $50. So
it's crazy.
Thor, number 617. This is the first appearance of Kid Loki. There have been rumors about him showing up in the MCU for going back to last year. But I guess those rumors are swirling again, because this book is now selling for between $60 and $75. There's also a Tron variant cover on this one that's selling for about $100. So that one's gone up quite a bit. Betty, number 46. Apparently this had some kind of, I don't even know what it is. Some kind of future prediction is all it says. It says Simpsons level future predictions. I'm not sure what that means. But this has gone from basically a nothing book to now like $150. So
for Betty and Veronica?
Yeah, I don't even understand what's going on with comics these days. And then last but not least, this one I can understand. This is Thundercats, issue number 1 from 1985. So again, as we just talked about this, Warner Brothers is developing this movie, and this book is now selling for between $150 and $300. So, yeah. And that is it for back issue bonus. So I know I gave your clicking finger a workout there.
There, yeah. Hey, all of these covers are on YouTube. It's all on our YouTube page. You could just click on the timestamp. You can go right to FOC, and you could just fast forward, go right through, and see all the covers. So pretty cool.
Yeah.
Good job, John. Good job.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Let's get into FOC for some more covers.
Yeah. So we're gonna start with DC, like we always do. Looking at Batman issue number 108. This has a Stanley Art Germ Lau variant cover, featuring Miracle Molly, I think is her name. And
it's Molly something, because it says it on her belt.
Yeah, I think it's Miracle Molly.
Yeah, cool cover.
Yeah, it's really cool cover. My favorite cover this week is Harley Quinn issue number 2.
Yeah.
This is a Derek Chu variant cover that I really like quite a bit.
Beautiful cover.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Very colorful, very real. I mean, not realistic, but very great tones.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, and much better than the art that's on the inside of the book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I will say that.
I hate that. when you
too.
like you see a cover
The
like
cover,
that,
you're like, oh, this is gonna be great.
yeah,
then
and you open it up and it's Ziggy.
Yeah, yeah. Inside joke for me and you. All right, and then last from DC variant covers, we have Teen Titans Academy issue number 2. I like this cover too.
This is a cool cover.
This is by Philip Tan. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
A couple of new series from DC. We have Robin issue number 1. This has multiple covers. And then we have Ruby and Justice League issue number 1. This is a 7-issue miniseries, and there were 2 covers available for this.
Cool. From
IDW Comics, we have the crossover that we didn't really want last time is back. My Little Pony and the Transformers 2 issue number 1. This is a 4-issue mini. I mean, the first one must have sold well enough that they came back to do another one. So maybe
I guess
maybe people do want it. They didn't want it at my store, but they must have wanted it somewhere. But yeah, this is a 4-issue miniseries, and there's multiple cover options here.
Was there ever a Barbie and G.I. Joe crossover? Like buy one get the other?
Only in my childhood.
Yeah,
and those were not fit. Those were not fit for print.
This is not for this podcast.
Yeah. Those crossovers are not meant for a family-friendly
I
podcast.
had G.I. Joe. My sister had a Barbie.
Yeah.
The Corvette got stuck in the mud.
Yeah. So they ended up at the soda shop. I don't know what was going on in the dream house.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Inspiration point.
Yeah. All right, from Image Comics, I'll get us back on track.
Exactly.
We have Helm Greycastle, issue number 1. This is a 4-issue miniseries with multiple copies.
Sounds like a fantasy book.
Yeah, it looks
I'm gonna go out on a limb there.
Looks very much like a Dungeons and Dragons type of story.
Yeah.
If I had to guess by looking at the cover and the title
Helm Greycastle.
Yeah. Really feels Masters of the Universe, really.
Yeah.
Because isn't it Castle
Grayskull?
Yeah. So a little play on that. All right, and then finally from Marvel, the only variant cover here is from Darth Vader issue number 11. This has a Chris Sprouse.
I feel like this
Empire
cover's been
Strikes
done
Back
already.
Variant. Well, it's just because it's such an iconic image.
Right.
Of Vader, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's Vader with his outstretched hand.
I had to look this up a bunch of times because, you're right. It's Vader and he's like, he's reaching out to Luke.
Reaching out
Empire.
for Luke, telling him, I am your father.
Right.
Scene there in the.
And when I looked it up, I was like, that has to be an old one. Let me see the one he's talking about. Nope, that's it. No, and I mean, you have it on your Facebook page. So I was like, well, okay.
Like I said, it's just an iconic image that we've seen a million times. Yeah. But it's cool to see it here.
I drew it.
Yeah. I'm sure I did too at one point.
Yeah.
And then new series from Marvel. This one isn't a series really, but it's the Spider-Man Curse of the Man-Thing.
Yeah.
This is also a one-shot. Now, these are one-shots, but there's actually 3 of these that I'm sure are tied together. Because we talked earlier about the Avengers Curse of the Man-Thing one-shot. So
this cover here gets back into the Avengers Curse, the webhead variant, because you have that same, the Man-Thing here. It's almost the exact same thing, only it's not drawn in the webhead pattern, but it's, tied in with that.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
So I have to imagine these are all tied together.
Yeah.
And then lastly, from Marvel, we have The Marvels, issue number 1, and this has multiple covers.
The one I put up I like is it's the one that you had on your website it's like a pastels almost.
Yeah, that's
with some
that's
brighter
just the
colors.
That's the A cover, but
that's a pretty cool cover with the lines coming down from between the letters.
Yep.
Breaking them up. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool cover. All right, that brings us to checkout for this week. We got a couple of books. I have a few to talk about, but we both read the same 2 that we'll focus on this week. So lead us off there, buddy.
All right, so we're going to start off with Shadecraft, issue number 1. This is from Image Comics. It was written by Joe Henderson, has art by Lee Garbett and Antonio Fabella. cover art by Lee Garbett. This is a book I actually read a couple of weeks ago prior to FOC.
Okay.
And I liked it. So I guess we'll skip right to the end. But I actually like this book quite a bit.
Yeah.
So obviously I read it again today, so I would have it fresh. Joe Henderson is a writer on Lucifer.
Oh.
And
I meant to put that in the news.
Yeah.
That's coming
right.
May
Lucifer,
28th, I think it
May
is.
28th, season 5B. And they also announced this week that they finished filming on season 6, which is the final season. So
cool.
There was a little bit of
not
Lucifer
cool.
news
It's final,
this week.
but yeah.
No, yeah, I know it's not cool, but
this day and age, nothing's ever final.
Well, that's true. It'll be rebooted, and who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, and this team also did Skyward for the Image Comics. So, anyways, this follows a character called Zadie Lou, and she's a teenager that it says here is afraid of her own shadow. And she's got good reason to be. So this is kind of a horror book, but it follows Zadie, who's a bit of an outcast at school, and while walking home one evening, she realizes that her shadow is not what it seems to be, and seems like there's something lurking in the shadows that's kind of following her and menacing her, and she kind of makes it home and is freaked out by what's happening, and she's trying to talk to the kids at school and warn her friends and all this good stuff. So it's another one of those books where we don't really know a whole lot about what's happening or why.
Right.
All we know is that the shadows are out to get her. I really liked it. I really liked the art in this. I thought the art was really cool, and I thought this was fun. It was pretty interesting. The characters got some troubles at home and some family drama
issues
that's happening.
Yep.
Yeah.
Drama. Good way to put it. Yep.
It's pretty interesting, and that kind of comes back to play at the end of the book. So, without giving too much away, it's just it was a lot of fun. I really liked it, and I'm really kind of interested to see what's happening here. So.
Yeah, kind of interested is an understatement for me. I'm very interested, and I will say it's a fairly simple book that I think you'll agree that you figure out what's going to happen at the end. I figured that out pretty early on about what was going on, but you still wanted to see there's another piece there that you still don't know when the book is over. And that's where this is going to really take off, I think. I love the idea of the book, the idea of shadows having a life, and that's basically what this is. And it's kind of a horror book, but it's Dr. Joe. It's not too super scary.
No, it's not. It's not yet, anyways.
Not yet, yeah. But it is I thought it was a very creative way of telling the story of. You had some teenage angst in there. You had it just I really liked the story. It's just a lot of fun and very creative. And even though it's fairly predictable, it really isn't when you're looking into book 2. And really looking
like
forward
you said,
to book 2.
There was some fun things here that she's kind of an outcast at school and doesn't have a lot of friends, and something happens with kind of like her best friend, I guess, that it's just very high school, very teenager, you know what I mean? Like it felt very realistic when it comes to that, as realistic as it can be with killer shadows and things. But some of the things that were happening in school felt very familiar and
of course
felt just very, very high school. So I think they captured that pretty well. And it actually makes me want to go back and look at Skyward, because I've never read that. But being that it's the same team,
right?
Kind of makes me want to go back and look at that too. So I'll maybe report on that at a future date. We'll see.
There we go. Well, you can't do it at a past date, so definitely do it in the future.
Yeah,
that would be cool. All right, you ready to move on to the next one?
Yeah. So the second book I read is called Witch Blood, issue number 1. This is from Vault Comics. Looks like it was written by, well, it doesn't look like it. It was written by Matthew Ehrman. And it had
Judging by what this piece of paper says here.
Right. Judging by my notes. Yeah.
Right here.
I don't know why they would lie, so I guess it was written by Matthew Ehrman. And it had art by Lisa Sturley. So this is kind
Apparently.
of, this is a witch / vampire / I'm not quite sure what else kind of story. Again, I'll just be upfront here. I didn't like this nearly as much as I liked Shadecraft.
Nope.
Or really that much at all, to be honest with you. This one,
ding. We're 2 for 2, buddy.
Yeah, this one kind of felt like it was all over the place.
All over the place.
I'm extrapolating out that the character Yana, who is a witch, I think is Joan of Arc.
Okay.
Because it was Yana d'Arc or whatever, which I'm assuming was. So I don't know how that works, but like she finds herself in a diner after being chased off the road, and she's trying to find
road
the person
rage.
She's trying to find
most
the
of the book
that,
is about road rage.
Yeah, they chased her off the road so she can get reimbursed for her motorcycle or whatever, and the person that hit her turns out to be like a witch hunter, but we don't really know why or what's going on there. And then all of a sudden, vampires show up out of nowhere. And yeah, I don't know. This one was a tough read for me, to be honest with you. I kind of almost gave up halfway through it, but I stuck it out because, I stuck it out because I had already sent you the notes telling you that I was going to read it. So it was too late to change it.
Yeah, I read this one this morning, and I was glad to see you read it. And I was like, there's no way. I had a feeling you were going to agree with me on both of these, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this one here was the whole, that story in the cafe, right?
Yeah.
In the diner. And then the person that was in the car, the woman that was in the car, the story felt like it was going somewhere, at least a little bit at that point, right?
Yeah.
Then the woman in the car, like, literally takes off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what's going on here. Like,
okay, we had a story. We had something going on here.
Because she was after something, the talisman or something, I think she said.
Right. But then
the
she
vampires
left.
showed
She's like,
up.
I'm out of
like,
here. I think she literally said, I'm out.
Yeah,
and
I don't care about any of this anymore. I don't care about the talisman. I'm out of here.
I literally flipped back a page. Like, did I miss something? Like, why is, like, she's, like, abandoning the story. And now, like you said, now it goes off on a completely different, like, if that was 2 different books, you wouldn't even, from page to page, you wouldn't even know you were reading the same book.
Yeah.
It was like,
yeah. I
wasn't a big fan of that one.
Yeah, it was too all over the place for me. And I found it a little hard to follow what was going on or why anybody was doing any of the things they were doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, maybe the story's a little deeper than we're giving it credit because, like you said, like the Joan of Arc and stuff, and maybe somebody could explain that to us. But the fact that they kind of lost us with the pacing of the story.
Yeah, because unfortunately I won't be reading further to find out if that's the case or not. I'll never know if it's Joan of Arc or not because I won't be reading. So yeah, that's tough.
Yep.
But
yeah.
But hey, we're 1 for 2 this week.
We're 1 for 2, and that's good because now we have our show title.
That's right.
There we go. I also read this week. I did read Silk #1. Did you read that?
I didn't get to Silk.
I liked it.
As much as I wanted to read it, I didn't get to that. But I did read several other books today as well, though.
I read that. I read that because of you. You'd been talking about it because it's come. It dropped today, and you've been saying for a while.
Yeah, it was one of the ones I wanted to read quite a bit, but it just I've mentioned before, like after the 2 that I read for the show, I kind of read in alphabetical order, and I just didn't get
to the S's, huh?
Yeah. So.
That's funny. We all have our.
I know, it's just the way I do things.
Patterns. Okay, Department of Truth. That's in the D's, or do you?
I did read Department of Truth.
What did you think of that this week?
I liked it because I'll be honest with you, I was kind of cooling a little bit on this series.
Oh, really?
And this issue brought me back a bit.
Okay.
I liked it. Yeah. very UFO centric. And
Oh, yeah.
I liked those pages in the middle that were kind of almost
kid's
like the
article.
white pages.
It was his article. That's what it was. Yeah.
Oh,
that
that's
was
true.
cool.
You know what? I didn't even pick up. I didn't even catch that. That's how dumb I am. But
It's like, John's like, oh,
I
look,
just
a
thought
break.
it was the art style in the middle of the book for some reason. But yeah, that makes sense now. Now that you said it.
So
but I love.
you picked up on Joan of Arc.
Yeah, right.
The super obvious.
But that I was spent after that.
Hey,
I didn't have any more.
Did you
brain
know that
power.
store, Target? Have you seen their logo? Did you know that's a Target?
I did. But I
Little
love
on the nose.
the tinfoil hat.
Yes.
And all that stuff. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Pretty good issue. I thought it was a good issue. Like I said, because I was starting to cool a little bit after the last 2 issues, but this one brought me back in a little bit. So.
Yeah, and did you see what they said for the next issue? I think did they call it Black Helicopters? I think is the name of the next issue.
Yeah.
If you flip on the next, at the end, the pages, it's like Black Helicopter. I'm like, this book, it's just so much fun. It's, and like you said, the tinfoil hat. This is all stuff that happened that people that there's folklore about people doing this stuff and and how about even in the book? It's like he was wrapping his article in tinfoil.
Yeah, in tinfoil.
Like just in case they could read through. It's like I don't know if it's protecting our brains. It's good, and I liked how each
for the paper,
each panel showed him like unfolding. It was like panel after panel of each fold coming undone. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
This is a great series. How long is this series? Do you know? Is it ongoing
it's
or
ongoing? Yeah. So
cool.
No telling. Yeah.
Cool. And did you get to? This is in the B's now. Batman, Catwoman.
I did. Yep, I did. If I got to the D's, I got through the B's.
That I know, but I don't know. Maybe you. I don't know.
I actually read this one Tuesday night.
Last night. Yeah. So, what do you think of that? What do you think of this series? Now that we're into the series, and I think it's a lot more easy to understand the time periods.
The time jumps are easier to follow. I like it. I'm not quite sure I love the relationship that they seem to be building between Selina and the Joker. But we'll see.
What do you mean? Why not? Like,
Well,
what don't you like about it? They've always had a relationship.
Not like it seems like they're like the way Penguin was talking about them. It seemed like they had almost an intimate relationship, and I don't know where he's going with that, but
okay.
But we'll see. Like I said, I don't know. I don't know enough about it yet, but I felt when I was reading it that I was a little bothered by that. I don't really know why, but yeah, I don't know. It's pretty good. It's really interesting. There was it looked like some tension there. It at some point in the relationship between Bruce and Selina, and maybe because of the Joker. Like, I don't really know. But
yeah, I like the end. I won't give it away if people haven't read it yet, but I like the end and the how little bit of tension there. Let's just say that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There was some tension building up between Bruce and Selina, and it seemed like it was early in their relationship where she maybe wasn't sure where she stood yet.
Yes.
Maybe was wanting to be good, but wasn't quite willing to let go yet.
Right.
So
that's what I kind of like about the time jumps in this, is that we kind of know the outcome of everything because
we know the end already. Like, we know the end of this story because we saw it in the first issue.
Right.
So,
but we also know
just
parts of the story because of, canon.
Right.
When they're early on, that they do eventually get together. When it's the present period, the end because of the story. It's very interesting. And this one's going, 12 issues, right?
It's 12 issues, yeah. So this was just issue 4. So we still got a ways to go.
Yeah. I'm really, really enjoying this. It's one to look forward to. And I hate to say it because I am really enjoying it, but it's almost like it's not on the top of your mind. It's like you forget about it. And then when it shows up, you're like, oh, yeah, that's right. We got that to read. What else? Let's see. Did I read? Nope. That's it. That's it for me.
I read. Let's see. What else did I read? I read Maestro Warren Pax, which I think was actually from last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I just got to it.
I have that
but that's
one.
really
I haven't
good.
read
I'm
that.
really liking that series.
What's that on? 3 now or 2?
This was issue 3. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, it's really cool. I really like where that series is going. I can't. I read a few. I read a few books today, but I can't.
You got into the M's, huh?
I got all the way down. I was reading. I don't know. I got probably to the. I don't know, P's or Q's or something. I don't know what all the titles
Just
were.
before the S's.
But yeah, I read quite a bit of books today. I only had like 2
good.
or 3 books left to read, which Silk was one of them. The one I wanted to read, which alphabetically goes all the way back to the B's, but I didn't have any more copies, was Beta Ray Bill. So
okay.
Figure out.
Yeah,
I'm probably gonna have to drag one out of somebody's box so I can read it. But I sold out of that today, so I didn't get a chance to read that.
Oh wow!
But I heard pretty good things about that book, and I love that character, so I definitely want to read that. So
cool.
It's funny, the 2 books I wanted to read the most were Silk and Beta Ray Bill, and I didn't read either one of them. So
and Beta Ray Bills? Oh yeah, you ran out, but that's
yeah, but right, that's back in the
it.
B's, but I didn't have any, so didn't get a chance to read that.
Yep.
So
all right, you ready to get into some real world then?
Sure.
All righty, John. What did you watch this week?
Yeah, not a ton, honestly, this week. Had a pretty busy week here at the house. We got some things going on, so we're packing and moving stuff around the house. But I did watch Invincible, which I was very excited to watch.
Yes.
And 3 episodes dropped on Friday, and I watched 2 episodes on Friday. I watched episode 3 on Saturday. Again, this is the animated show on Amazon Prime. So the first thing that struck me with this show that I was very excited about is the fact that these are 45-minute episodes.
Yeah.
Really threw me, because for an animated show, I was expecting, 25 minutes tops on these.
That's like an hour-long regular show.
So, right,
yeah,
so it's basically an hour-long, it's a regular hour-long drama time frame. This is an 8-episode first season. So, we already get 3 right up front. So we're almost happy. But I really liked that these were full 45-minute episodes. And then from there, as a big fan of the comic, this is pretty accurate to the comics. And I was really happy to see that. It follows the story pretty closely. There's a couple, there's always a few things that get changed for just to update the time. This is a 15-year-old book at this point, maybe more. So, they update things to make it a little bit more timely and things like that. But the overall story was very faithful to the comics. I loved this series. I don't know if you got a chance to watch it at all, but I think it's great. Maybe it's because I know where the story goes. I like it so much, but I don't know. You coming at it from a fresh perspective, I don't know if you watched it or how you felt about it, but
would you like me to retort?
Well, yeah, I'm kind of waiting for you to say.
Well, you were still talking. So I watched the first 2 episodes.
Okay.
Really liked the first 2 episodes, and I was going to read it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, maybe I shouldn't, because I want to get through the eight episodes. I think it would be good for you and I to go through these 8 episodes and talk about it and say, like, the different perspectives. Because like you just said, it's like, I'm really enjoying it. I don't know where it's going. I kind of have a feeling on where it's going. I don't know if you want to do some Kryptonite on it or something.
Well, we can. The only reason why I said it the way I said it is because I heard from a few people that they thought it started out kind of slow. And I didn't feel like that, because I know exactly where the story is going. So for me, it was just following along. Whereas for you coming in cold, I don't know if it felt slow to you, but I will say, like, halfway through episode 1, you get a credit scene and you think it's over, and then it's
Yeah, that
not,
was weird.
and there is nothing slow
After that. No, that's almost like get the children out of the room.
Yeah. This is a very bloody, violent cartoon. This is not your kid's Saturday morning cartoon.
No. No.
This series in the comic was very, very bloody, and it looks like they're following pretty closely along with
and
this
it was funny. I was actually watching this in the living room, and Jen was watching it. She was doing some stuff in the kitchen and everything, and she was watching, and the first, like you said, before the first credit scene, she's like, "Oh, okay, this is pretty good." It's kind of heartfelt. A lot of that teen angst going on.
Yep.
A lot of good, good feels in there, and awkward feels in there. A lot of fun stuff, right? Then the credits roll, and I guess I would say I had a weird feeling of like, that was weird. Like, what? And then all of a sudden it starts back up, and I'm like, what's going on? I didn't really understand it.
I don't know why they went to the credit like that either.
It was weird. It was a weird choice, but
it was.
Once you're through it, I mean, wow. Yeah. And then it ends like on a cliffhanger that you're like, thank God they put it out 3 episodes, because I didn't have time to watch episode 2 right away. But I immediately went and read the synopsis for episode 2, because I'm like, I got to see what happens here. This is crazy.
Well,
right?
And again, this is one of those series where, like, I feel the same way about this as I did Game of Thrones, because I had read all Game of Thrones, and it was kind of like, I wished I was experiencing this for the first time, but I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, I knew that was going to happen.
So that's what I wanted to do. I'm like, I could just pick it up and read it.
Right.
But I'm like, why? Why don't I wait and I'll enjoy it the way you wish you could be doing right now?
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think that'll be fun between the two of us to go through the series. And
I got the same feels when I read it, but seeing it, quote unquote live action, I mean, it's animated, but like seeing it is a little different than reading it. But I mean, I felt the same way reading it as you probably did seeing it. But I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. And then, I mean, the voice cast is just so fantastic in this show.
Sounds just like what was in your head.
Yeah, and everybody is so spot on. Like J.K. Simmons as Omni-Man is just so perfect. Stephen Young as Mark Grayson is perfect. Like, you're right. It sounds just like I expected it to sound.
I love how the kids at school are calling him names, like they're making fun of him, and they keep calling him, you're such a dick.
Yeah.
Because he's Dick Grayson. I mean, he's Dick Grayson, because it's all the characters are real, based on a real character, right? And it's like, he's Mark Grayson, but they call him a dick, and he's Dick Grayson. And I was like, hey, that's pretty funny. So
yeah,
and they've done that. They did that a few times, but
yeah, and the beginning characters, like the Guardians of the Globe, are very obviously ripoffs from the Justice League.
Yeah,
I mean, you've got Red Rush.
I call them homages, not ripoffs.
Yeah,
but okay.
Yeah, homages. But I mean, you've got your Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman. You've got them all there. The Aquaman is the fish dude, which is cool.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was Aquaman or King Shark. I don't know.
Yeah,
I was like,
but they, well, I won't say anything else for those who didn't watch it.
Yeah, well,
but even in the very beginning,
we can do that in Kryptonite.
You have Mad Men. John Hamm is right at the very beginning, and you haven't seen episode 3 yet, but Seth Rogen is in there.
I saw that.
Oh, you did see it. Okay.
Yeah, I saw 3.
Okay, so Seth Rogen is Alan the Alien, and that's perfect.
Yeah.
It's such a great cast, and I don't know. I can't talk enough about this. Yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit more in Kryptonite because there's some cool stuff. But other than that, I watched that. Of course, we'll get to it. I watched Falcon Winter Soldier. And then just a few more episodes of Animal Kingdom I watched, which is really, now that I'm like 7 or 8 episodes in, I'm really starting to get into this show, and it's pretty awesome. Really, really good show. And that's kind of it. Like I watched, a couple of, I watched like The Good Doctor and a couple of my weekly shows. But like I said, we were pretty busy this weekend, so didn't watch a lot of TV.
Same here. I've been behind the computer working on all this stuff, but really enjoying it. By the way, I'm not complaining. But I did catch Godzilla versus Kong today.
Yeah.
Really, I absolutely loved it.
Did you?
I hate to say stuff like that because I don't want people going in with high expectations. So I will bring you down a little. I cannot wait for you to see this movie.
Oh, why is that?
Oh my God, we're gonna have a blast. We are gonna have a blast.
Do you feel like I'm not gonna like it, or?
I think you'll like it. I think you'll like it. I think you have a good head on your shoulders. You understand it's a monster movie,
I was gonna say it's Godzilla versus Kong. So while I'm excited, I don't have the highest of expectations.
But let's just say, exactly. Let's just say you've seen all the other ones, of course.
I have, yes.
Leading up to it, they do a really good job of meshing them together, bringing them in, telling I feel like it wraps up. There was a time at the beginning where I was like. And this was like a half hour into it. I go, they're not going to wrap this up. I'm like, there's no way.
Right.
And they did. They really did. I felt like, and that's kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
Because I want more, but you don't need it. It's the story's told. You know, the 4-episode story is told. And you can't ask for more. We got it all. Right.
So what you're saying is there's not going to be a Godzilla versus Kong 2 Rumble in the Jungle?
Right.
Thriller in Manila?
I don't know. It's like I suppose you can always make more giant monster movies.
You're right.
I mean, there's always something when you see how they.
We're
came
on
up
like
with this
WrestleMania 97, so
right. Yeah.
If we could do that,
right. Completely natural bodybuilders bouncing off the ropes, right?
Right.
But yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. I think you and I will do some Kryptonite on that next week. I think we'll have some, because I'll watch it again. I'm going to see it in the theaters.
I really want to watch that tomorrow at some point if I can, but Lydia is not super keen on watching it, so I may have to squeeze it in.
Millie Bobby Brown is aging. She's getting old. I mean, I'm not saying she's old. I'm saying she's grown up.
She's like 20 now. By the way, did you see the rumors of her name is being thrown around for Batgirl on the HBO Max movie? So
good God, that'd be great.
Yeah, I think it'd be really good. I like her.
That'd be great.
And
you know why?
I haven't seen this, but I thought she was great in that Sherlock, the Enola Holmes movie.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
she was so good in that.
Enola.
So, yeah.
When you just said that about Batgirl, immediately her face reminded me, I don't know why, but Batman 66. Who played Batgirl in that?
Oh, Yvonne Craig.
Yeah, I don't know. I just my memory feels like they're very similar. I might be wrong if you put them side by side, but I just feel like that is a pretty accurate depiction, especially when you see her in
So when
Godzilla
I said Millie
Kong.
Bobby Brown, you immediately went to Yvonne Craig and not Alicia Silverstone?
No.
I don't know, man.
No. No. Would you?
No. Just giving you a hard time.
I know. Yeah, no. But
I would have gone to the animated series Batgirl before I went to Alicia Silverstone.
I know. Any of them. I mean, geez. Go to who did the voice in Harley Quinn, the animated series.
It was
somebody who
Lake
played her.
Bell, I think.
Was that I think it was actually. Oh, who did what? It was their sister. I think it was Kaylee Cuoco's sister, wasn't it?
Kaylee Cuoco's sister, right?
Her sister, and it sounds just like Kaylee Cuoco.
Yeah, Bree Cuoco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Godzilla versus Kong, no, it's a monster movie. It's everything we had when we were kids. Right down to there's a couple of incidents where I swear this is right out of a little kid playing with the toy. there's a feature in there that we'll talk about later, but it just was lots and lots of fun. Lots of fun. Really enjoyed that. And that's all I've got for Real World. You ready to get to Falcon Winter Soldier though?
Sure.
Alrighty. What'd you think of this week?
I thought it was really good. I liked issue one. I liked episode 1 quite a bit, but I think this really, it really picked up with episode 2 here.
Now they're together.
Yeah, once we got the two of them together, but we also got more of the story, right? Like you got U.S. Agent, you got Isaiah Bradley, which was really cool. The super soldier serum all over the place. It's just really good. A little hint of Zemo. So
yeah,
I thought it was really good though. I think the action in this was great. I think like there's a little bit of mystery building up, which is really good. I think it was super fun. So
I thought the pacing was fantastic because you were like on the edge, not on the edge of your seat, but very engaged the entire time. And then when the episode ended, you were like, "That's it? It's all like." Like sometimes you can feel like a show's about to wrap up anyways. You're like, okay, it's run its course. And this one, you were just like, go, go, go. It just felt real. And then it just ended. You're like, no, you got to wait another week, which that's good pacing right there. Cause it makes you want to come back. So,
and we're 33% done. So
it's sad.
I know.
Isn't it? It's such a short, 6 episodes.
6 episodes just goes so fast.
Even at 40, 45 minutes each, it's still so short.
Because I feel that way with Invincible now. I'm like, damn it, I only got 5 weeks left.
Right. And that is going one at a time now, right?
It's going one at a time now. Yeah, there's 5 more episodes. There's 8 total. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Falcon Winter Soldier. We haven't got Sharon yet.
No, we haven't.
They talked about
like
her.
I said, just a little bit of hint of Zemo at the end.
Hint of Zemo. It sounds like you're ordering a drink.
I know.
Can I get that with a little hint of Zemo?
Zemo with some lime.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling episode 3 will be Zemo centric. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I kind of like that we don't really know who's the bad guy here. Like the chick from Star Wars.
The chick from Star Wars.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I know that sounded pretty bad, didn't it?
It was pretty funny.
The
chick
girl
there.
But the girl from Star Wars, Enfys Nest or whatever. I don't know
what
the actress's name is.
Yeah.
She was on Star Wars. Like, you think she's the bad guy, but I don't actually think that she is.
No.
I think they're like freedom fighters because somebody else is after them who I think is the bad guy.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that's fairly evident. It's like they're kind of showing like they're being chased.
Yeah.
They're just they're protecting themselves. They have a goal.
And what they call him, like they called him Robin Hood or called her Robin Hood. So it's kind of like she's. I think Flag Smasher is the guy that they're stealing from, and trying to help their people. But I get the feeling that even though she squared off and was fighting with Falcon and Bucky and all that, they're going to end up working together at some point, I think, before this is all over with, because I don't think they're ultimately the villains here. But
I love the therapy session.
Yeah, that was awesome. Now, unfortunately, we'd seen a bunch of that in the trailers, which is why I don't like to watch trailers.
Yeah, but it was still pretty good. It was a little bit literally more intimate. Them with the knees
I'll put
and
my
everything.
leg here, and you put your leg there, and that was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I don't know. Sam seemed a little bit. He wanted nothing to do with it, And
of both of them, Bucky was more into it than Sam was. Which is opposite of what you would think.
What you would have expected, and I thought Bucky was like, I thought he we're criticizing the therapy session, but I thought he like opened up and he needs help.
Right.
And I loved what he said about like, if you think it's not, what did he say? Like, if you think it's not right, then I'm not right. Like, if he was wrong about you, then that means, that's what it was.
That
if
means
he was wrong about
he was
wrong about me, and that's all he has to go on.
Right.
And I also liked, this is jumping around, but I liked when he jumped out, Bucky jumped out of the plane without the chute.
Yeah.
He just bounced. And
I just bounced on the ground. That was awesome.
Just bounced. Boing. He goes, I got that all on film, right?
Right. Well, and then that whole thing again. They're not shying away from race issues in this series at all. But that whole thing with the cops, and then they end up arresting Bucky, which was pretty cool.
That was funny.
Not really cool, but it was funny.
Right. And he just goes, and I love it when they do that, like when Superman and Man of Steel's like,
yeah, he just goes,
breaks them open. It's like,
he's like, I'll let you cuff me.
Yeah, here you go. It's like, I could throw the door of the car open, never mind these cuffs. So, all right. I think that's enough for this week.
Yeah.
We have anything else? We'll do a little bit of Kryptonite with Invincible.
Yeah.
So we'll wrap things up from here. So that'll do it for this week. You can check us out on Twitter at @brightside_chat, or you can reach John exclusively at Arkham Comics with an X on Twitter. And you can email brightsidechat@gmail.com, and check us out on the network, the Nerdy Legion, and nerdylegion.com with all the other great podcasts. Martin and Nick are back at it, so Nerdy Legion, the actual podcast, is back up. So they've had a little bit of a hiatus, so it's nice they're back. And yeah, we are on YouTube now, so go there and subscribe. You could be one of our 10 viewers.
Right, we've got tens of viewers.
Tens of viewers. Looking for 20s of viewers.
That's right.
We're growing, John.
We are.
Don't worry. It'll get there. Everybody heard that before.
One viewer at a time.
One at a time. All right. Let's get out of here so we can lock the door. Everybody have a great week. We'll be back next week with much more.
Autobots, roll out.
Hey, Fred. All right, John. Is that door all nice and locked up and secure?
It is. Locked up
Thank
tight.
God. Because, you don't want anybody spoiling Invincible.
I don't want anybody spoiling a 15-year-old comic.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'd never even heard of it.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I talked about it last year when I read it, but.
So
yeah,
you read it at the 14-year-old mark.
Yeah, it's not super well known. I mean,
right.
It's not a very, very high profile comic, but it has a very dedicated, like the people that read it love it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like one of those things that has a cult. I don't want to say a cult following.
It's an adult book for sure.
It is.
So that's going to
book,
bring it down a little bit. Not down, but it's not going to be in the pop culture because kids can't read it.
Yeah. But yeah, this series, like I said, it came out 15, 16 years ago, but I binged the whole thing last year. I read I think it was 145 issues.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's quite a bit. So, like, we're in for potentially multiple seasons here. This is a pretty long story. So hopefully that we get it all. Like, I don't know what the ratings were on this. I mean, again, I've talked to a lot of people at the store that really loved it, but again, they're my people, right? Like they're in a comic book store for a reason. They're predisposed to liking this. I'm not sure how this is going to appeal to the masses, So hopefully it gets all the seasons that it needs to go on. But even here in Kryptonite Key Club, like this limited stuff we could say, because I don't want to spoil this even for you. So
right,
like we can't go super deep on a lot of this, but obviously the biggest the biggest.
the opening scene,
shocker right off the bat.
Yeah, after the end credit scene.
The end credit scene of episode 1, where you find out Omni-Man is not quite who you think he is.
Well, that's what obviously you know the answer.
I do know the answer, yes.
And I almost want to ask, it's like,
I can't spoil it. That's the problem.
Is that the case? Is like, is he really the bad guy? Or is it like there's something like, because does he know what he did? There's so many questions that I don't expect you to answer. And quite honestly, it's better that you don't, because these are the discussions that I think are going to be fun. Like, you know the answers. And I'm sure this is what you were thinking when you were reading it.
Yeah. It's hard to say. Like, I don't want to give anything away. I just don't want to give anything away for you. But,
so let's just go by the 3 episodes that we have. Yeah. So you have the dad who is clearly probably done one of the worst things that a superhero can do in comics, right?
Yeah, well, he's Superman,
and he's training his
and he
son.
Basically killed the Justice League. Is what happens, right? We're in spoilers, so I mean, we can. That's not a spoiler because you've already seen that, right? Like, the Guardians of the Globe are essentially the Justice League, and Nolan Grayson, who is Omni-Man, is basically Superman. And he kills the whole team at the second half of episode 1, and then goes on about his business. Like, nobody knows he did this. Right,
like, because he was out too.
He was out too because the team was able to wound him on their way out the door, basically. And so when it's discovered that everybody's dead, he's unconscious. So everybody just assumes he's a victim of whatever happened here as well. And of course, when he wakes up, he doesn't confess to being the killer. So nobody really knows
at this
what's
point,
going on there.
Through these 3 episodes, you don't know if he knows.
You don't know if he knows.
You know what I mean? Like, he could be unconscious.
I have a different perspective on this because I'm watching this with full knowledge of what happens. But so that's why I'm not saying anything. But from your perspective, you're right. You don't know that he knows. But there's also other hints, right? Like, he snaps on his wife at one point.
Oh, yeah.
And then, she kind of reins him in. And then, he's kind of a jerk to the nurse at the nurse's station in the hospital.
Yes.
So there's glimpses into his personality that are coming through. So I without being too spoilery, there's hints of what's going on there. And then other than that, I mean that's the big surprise, right? Like, out of all 3 episodes, that's the biggest shocker of the whole thing. That's kind of like the Ned Stark spoilers. It's kind of like Ned getting his head cut off in Game of Thrones, or like the Red Wedding, right? Like, you just didn't see that coming at all.
No. Like I said, by the time that episode ended, I couldn't get right to episode 2, so I had to read this. And I literally got to episode 2 like an hour later, but I couldn't wait. I had to read what was going on, and I'm like, even watching episode 2, I was like, did this really happen? Like, I thought they open episode 2 with them bringing in the team. And they're like putting the machines over them. Like, oh, okay, here they go. They've got tech. They're going to save them.
Right.
Nope.
Oh,
nope.
no.
It's like they could barely save Omni-Man, it seemed like. He almost died. He almost
died.
And
they were kind of beyond saving for the most part.
Oh, yeah. When one of the people, like, one of the techs picked up a head.
Yeah.
And then she put her mask down and threw up.
It's the head of the character called Immortal. And clearly he's not.
Well, elves in Lord of the Rings are immortal, but they can die.
Yeah, he's immortal to an extent, right? He's got his head cut off, so.
Isn't he he was supposed to be like Wolverine, wasn't he? I felt like he was Wolverine, but he could fly.
Yeah, I mean, again,
or maybe
I
jump really high. I don't know.
he
But because he had the beard, he was immortal. Like Wolverine is kind of like
right,
a
but he
heel.
was also sort of Superman-esque as well because he has the strength and the flight,
Right.
and kind of a little mixture of both.
Yeah.
But
It wasn't around long enough for really get a good
Yeah.
gauge.
yeah, you don't really know yet what was going on there. So what else? I mean,
Well, then,
I don't
yeah,
know.
the
What
whole-
questions do you have? Like, do you have any? I don't know.
I just the whole relationship with the son. I thought I mean, everything that we just talked about here, that's a great story unto itself. But now he's raising his son. So
Right.
if he is the bad guy, what's it going to be like when his son finds out? And it's fun watching his son learn his powers.
Right.
Watching them play catch. That was awesome. That was so
pretty
like
cool. Yeah.
throwing Joe and I had a conversation about like that. Can you do that? Like, it's not even like we were talking about like that wouldn't even be possible because if you threw a baseball hard enough, it wouldn't stay in the atmosphere.
It would break
leave.
right. It would break the orbit. Yeah.
Right. So like, how do you throw it just enough that it would stay inside the gravitational pull and come back around?
Right.
I know it's an animated series, but
Yeah,
these are the
it's a cartoon.
conversations you have with an engineer.
Yeah.
But it's fun, you know? And it's like that. But that was so cool because I loved how he threw the ball. Omni-Man throws the ball, and then he turns around to talk to his son who's behind him.
Right.
And they're like having a conversation. Then all of a sudden he goes, "Oh, you hear it? Get ready. Are you going to catch it?" And you hear it coming. You're like, and it comes flying in. Then the son throws it back, and the dad's got the ball, and the ball's like steaming.
Yeah.
And Joe pointed that out. The ball wouldn't even survive.
No, it would have been gone, right? It's just a
So
baseball. Just canvas and string. So,
Maybe it was a magic baseball.
yeah.
But
It was immortal.
yeah. But
So
I
good
mean,
at
the
that
entire, and I do like how each episode they say Invincible.
Oh, yeah, I
but
love
they
that.
don't
Every time
say it.
They never say his name. Every time it comes up, they pop up the title card, which
Right.
is pretty cool.
Yeah, and no sound. It's just,
Right.
and I love every time they're like, kind of optimistic, but okay.
Yeah.
It's like when he went for his fitting for his costume.
Yeah. You know who that was, right?
No, who?
It's Mark Hamill.
Is it really?
Yeah, the tailor.
I didn't know that.
Is Mark Hamill, yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't notice that. I was in awe of the entire show. I mean, I just saw Justice League get killed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I knew ahead of time who most of them were, but
Oh, really?
But as I'm listening to them, I'm like, who is that? Because
It's cool on Amazon because you can click on it and it'll show you
yeah,
on the bottom
it
who they
shows
all
you.
are.
But I knew that Mark Hamill was playing the tailor. But I'd kind of forgot Seth Rogen was Alan, and then when Alan showed up and he started talking, I was like, for a second, I was like, man, that voice sounds really familiar. Who is that? And I was like, oh, it's Seth Rogen.
That's funny. So, yeah, no, that one I
And
got.
that whole thing with him too, he's like, I'm the Galaxy Protector. I'm supposed to be at the planet Uarth or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm in so much trouble.
Well, I thought that was kind of telling too, that the Omni-Man sends his son to battle him.
Right.
And he goes, he's easy. He'll be able to take care of him. No problem.
Right.
And he does take care of him, but I'm wondering if that's some foreshadowing to how Omni-Man handles things, because his son goes up there and it was basically, he just talked him down. It was no
that's the whole thing, because that's the difference, right? Because Omni-Man had obviously fought Alan multiple times.
Yeah.
And they never discovered that he was in the wrong place because there was never a conversation to be had.
Right.
Omni-Man just charged in and fought. Whereas Mark, Invincible, goes up there and he's like, why are we doing this? Like, I don't understand what's going on. And, much different way of handling things.
Yeah. And I do like how Mark, Invincible, he's really powerful and he doesn't even know yet. And,
right.
it comes out here and there, like when he had to save Adam Eve.
Yeah.
When she was about to be killed, and he basically single-handedly took everybody down in the area and saved her. And but he just can't duplicate that yet.
Right. He doesn't. It's like Clark and John Kent, right? Like they're building John now to be the stronger of the two. Like they're saying now in the comics, he's more powerful than Clark, than Kal-El. And this is kind of the
same
idea.
idea.
Like Mark's kind of coming into his powers, but he's got all the powers of Omni-Man. He's his son.
Right.
And ultimately who ends up being stronger, is something they'll kind of struggle with throughout the whole series. But yeah, he's a pretty powerful dude. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
But yeah, he just doesn't know, because again, he's kind of a late bloomer. He didn't come into his powers until, I don't know, what is he supposed to be, like 16, 17 years old, where they were kind of expecting him to get his powers at like 8 or 9. So,
right.
He's kind of a late bloomer and doesn't know what all his abilities are yet. But yeah.
I did like the line from Omni-Man talking about the Flash knockoff, what's his name? And he's like, what's the big deal? He's fast.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the power I have. He's just fast. Red Rush, yeah. He's like,
name,
just fast. It's just kind of like making fun of it. It's like,
yeah,
it's not
he
really
runs
that big.
fast, that's all.
Just run fast. It's not that big a deal. Oh, but yeah, it's a really, really interesting show. I literally didn't expect that all the way into episode 2.
I was kind of hoping I didn't build it up too much, because I was talking about it last week, how great I thought it was going to be, and I didn't want you to watch it and go, it's not that great. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of glad that you liked it, because
it is one of those things that, like, maybe that's why people thought the beginning was slow, is because you're right, you talked it up like this is great, and up into and through the credits you're like, I don't know what was so great about it. So in hindsight, if I think back to those moments, then yeah, maybe you would have, if that was it, you would have said that's kind of slow. But then when you see what happens after, and then obviously that changes your perspective of the entire show now. Right. So, you know what I mean? So had the credits just ended and the show ended there, of course, we would have been like, what are you talking about? It's not that good. Yeah. But then you get the after credit action, and it's a completely different show. It's insane.
But I wonder how many. Going into it, I could see that, because there's a lot of build-up that happens in the beginning of any show, and I
wonder how many people didn't watch after the credits.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think they might literally be saying, like,
the MCU, they have to, you know what I mean? Because we're now trained to do that. And I also knew going into it that it was a 45-minute episode, so I was like, well, we're only like 20 minutes into this, so it can't be over,
right?
But yeah, I was a little surprised when that. I was a little surprised when the credits popped up on the screen.
Yeah,
I was like, "What's going on here?"
Yeah, that was weird. And they did it in episode 2. I think they did it in all 3.
I think they've done it on all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, they run some credits. It's a good way to get
a little intermission or something.
It's a good way to get everybody to see. Get you to see their credits.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like,
you're gonna watch them in the middle. You're not done, so you're not going anywhere.
Yeah. Imagine if they start doing that in the movie theaters. Oh, son of a bathroom break.
Pee break, yeah. It's like, I'd love it if they did that.
Imagine the line.
Well, that's true. It would be
everybody would be going.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
It's like the stands at the stadium in between innings or at halftime,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh, speaking of that, Joe and I went to a Bees game.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, got back in the building. Nice. They're allowed 12%.
Wow. Lots of people.
Yeah, it's like 2,100, just under 2,100 people, and an 18,000 capacity.
Right.
And I said to Joe, we're sitting there, we're watching a professional hockey league game, and I was like, Joe, this is like going to your college games.
Yeah.
You're in the building, and it's like 2,100 parents.
Right.
That's about it. You're like, yay.
Parents and girlfriends. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to be masked up. everything like that. Concessions are all like half the building, more than half the building is closed for concessions and everything. But it was a good experience. It was a lot of fun to go in. I said they send you the surveys afterwards, and they're like, would you recommend this? And I was like, absolutely. I said, it's because it's so limited. I think it's a great opportunity if you can get in there, wherever you are in the country, when this time comes, it's like, it's, in my opinion, it's good to get back in there just to feel like you're back out again. And it feels a lot safer because there's nobody there. It's like when we go to the movies now, the movies are empty.
Well, as you guys are listening to this, it's opening day for baseball, and I don't know what the capacity is, but I know the Sox are opening in Fenway with a crowd. I don't think it's 100%, but it is a crowd. Now, here in Texas, because we're fast and loose, the Rangers are opening their season with 100% capacity in their stadium.
Really?
Yeah.
That's going to be a sight to see.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Maskless too, now, right?
Whether
not mandated or not by the government. Not government.
And it's 100% available. Now, it would be interesting to see if they actually sell out or not.
Right.
I don't know if all 40,000 people will show up, but there's a chance.
Right.
But yeah, again, it'll be interesting, when I watch the game later, to see how many people are in the stands.
I'll be honest.
We saw a couple of the like the Super Bowl had fans. Yep. So we've seen a little bit of it already, but we watched most of the football season this year with empty stadiums, so it was kind of weird to watch.
I know the Bees, they couldn't sell all. Their 2,100 capacity wasn't sold out.
Right.
They can't get rid of them. They can't get enough people to go.
Right.
And it's so restricted because you pick your seats to go, and you have to stay in your group. Like I had 2. You can't spread out. Like they literally zip tie the seats that aren't being used down, so you can't sit in them. You can't unfold them. If you have a group of 4, they put you in a certain area. And so like it's all laid out that everybody's spaced out accordingly, and it's kind of a nice way to view a game. It's funny, I got an email about luxury box opportunities. I'm like, I'm practically in one. Nobody's around me.
Nobody's around me, right? I'm in a luxury box.
What do I need a luxury box for? I was like, I practically have the entire garden to myself. What do I need a luxury box for? But yeah, it's like I said, everybody has their different fears, opinions, but I think because it's such a limited audience, it's a great opportunity to get back and start to feel a little bit more comfortable with that stuff.
Right.
So hopefully we get better as we get through the summer. So
hope so.
It was fun. I'd love to take Jen, get her back out. She's been actually been vaccinated because she's a teacher. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. I got mine 3 weeks ago. So.
Did you?
Yep.
Oh, you guys are proof. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I got mine. We're open.
Texas
is open to everybody now, as of last Monday. Everybody.
Yeah, we're not yet.
But,
we're not yet.
Yeah, I got mine like 3 weeks ago. So.
Oh, good. So are you doubled up already? Did you have the Johnson & Johnson?
No, I got the Johnson & Johnson, so I'm the 1 dose.
Nice.
1 dose shot, yeah.
This state just got a shipment of that, so I'm hoping maybe by the time it's up for me, I get to have the Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah. Yeah, it worked out well. Like I said, I went to CVS and Walgreens actually and got it.
My luck, I'll get one of them, have a bad side effect, and be all banged up on my busy time of year.
Yeah. Yeah.
The summer.
It was pretty. I didn't have anything. I wouldn't have even known I got it. I had no effects at all. So it was.
Jen had a rash and a headache, and that was about it. She got a rash on her arm, a sore arm, but she got a rash too, and then had a headache. So
my arm was a little sore, but I didn't know it. Like I didn't realize it was even sore till I rolled over in my sleep. I kind of rolled onto it, and I was like,
"Nice."
Yeah, I felt that.
Yeah.
But during the day, moving around, I never noticed it. So it was pretty easy.
You're tough.
I'm like a pincushion, dude. I get poked and prodded and pricked
all
and
the
blood
time,
drawn
right? Yeah.
every couple of weeks. So needles are nothing to me anymore. So yeah, I'm used to it.
Yeah.
But,
That's good. Yeah, I'm not in a hurry to get it, but I'll get it when it's.
I wasn't really either. I got a call with the opportunity to get it, and I took it.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like I was just gonna wait till now, like everybody else.
Yeah.
But I got.
It's
like
not
I
even
got
up
the
to me yet.
opportunity.
I'm not even available yet.
Yeah.
So
I got the opportunity to get one, and I did. So yeah, Lydia hasn't gotten hers yet, so she's looking to get an appointment now so she can get hers. But yeah, so it's been 3 weeks, so I'm kind of ready to be out there. Like,
there you go.
Obviously, I still got my mask and stuff, but I'm good to go. So
Good. All right. Is that it for this week?
I think so.
That was a good show.
Yeah.
Nice and relaxing.
Yeah, leisurely.
Because
it's so tense usually. It's usually so much work.
I know. Oh, all the work goes into the prep.
Yeah.
You find pictures. Yeah. Just send me the notes of like 50 pictures.
Well, that's why I tried to get it to you early, though. I sent
Oh,
it
I know
to you
you
pretty
did.
early today.
Yeah, it was. It was great. Awesome. Awesome. Keep
tried.
that up.
I try to be thoughtful. Well, I do it as I can.
I know.
This week was easier than last week, so
Yeah, exactly.
It just depends, yeah.
So, all right. That'll do it.
All right.
See you next week.
Take care, everyone.